Okay, it's about time now we start for loop scripts for file system. Well, we already learned for loops earlier, but now we are actually going to learn more smaller and bigger and advanced for loops as well. I am going to actually include multiple scripts here. It's not, this lesson is not about just one script and we'll move on. In this lesson, we are going to create simple counting for loop scripts. How you could use it. There are counting by 1 to 100 or whichever the specified number of times. We're going to create multiple files with different names. So if you want to create, let's say 10 files, are you going to do touch 1, touch 2, touch 3? No, right? You want to create a script that will create multiple files and of course with multiple different names. So that's what we're going to cover. Next, we're going to cover create multiple files with user input. So user will have to specify, it would be like, hey, do you want to create a file? Yes, and what's the name of the file? There's how many files do you want to create? I want to create 10 files. Wouldn't be that nice? Then we have to create another script like assign write permissions to files. We'll create another script that will assign write permission to files with total time it will take. So I am actually going to cover 5 different scripts in this lesson. And the reason I'm keep on focusing on for loop is one of the important statement for loop scripts that you will be using more often than any other statement scripts. Okay, without further ado, let's log into our Linux machine. We have our Linux machine right here. I'm gonna clear the screen real quick. Um, I'm gonna exit out and I'm gonna log into my other one, which is right here. Clear the screen. Who am I? I have Sol. This is my other session that was running. I don't want to have 2 different sessions open. This will do nothing but to confuse you more. Anyway, I am in my home directory and I want to go into my professional script directory that I created earlier. I have a few scripts that I worked on it earlier. You probably have it too if you're following me exactly every lesson one by one. Anyway, let's clear the screen out. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to create a simple counting script for the for loop. So what it does, let's first create the script, then you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Simple count. Again, what do we have to do, guys? So now I am trying to save you time. So I'm just going to leave this author date so you could fill that up yourself. Description, but please don't forget to do that. I am skipping it because I don't want to waste any more time on this. I want to get into straight into scripting. All right, so everything is defined. So now for loop I is just a variable in curly braces 1 dot dot, let's say 20. Enter. Now what I'm saying is I want you to put all the counting from 1 to 20 into a variable called I. It's just that what I'm doing. So think of it, you have a can and you're putting 20 numbers from 1 to 20 in that can. So that can name is I. You could name it anything. The can name is A, or just even you could even name it can as CAN can. So you could do that. Now, what do you want to do now? So you already put those 20 numbers in a can. What do you want to do? Again, it's a perfect example. So do. First is echo $I. So it is actually going to echo whatever is inside of the container. So I am actually boxing 20 numbers in a box. And then once I did that, then I want to open the box and read those numbers. That's pretty much it. And then I don't want to read all of them in one shot. I want to read one number at a time. It will read one number at a time, but it will read it so fast that it will look like as if it's reading all in one shot. So in order for me to verify that it is reading one at a time, I'm going to put a command inside called sleep one. Sleep one, what is gonna do is actually gonna read one letter, sleep for 1 second, then read the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. So I don't want to waste your time. I'll just put here 10. So we will just run the script for 10 seconds. It will sleep for 10 seconds. Oops. And right here is done. So I hope you understand this. For I in put there's a container I put number 1 through 10. Then what do you want to do once you have all the numbers in a box? Then do read those numbers from for me, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. But I want you to sleep, like put a break in every number while you're reading it, and that break is for only for 1 second. Okay. Okay, sir, we will do that. Perfect. And what do you want to do once I'm done? Then you're done. Don't worry about it. Okay. All right, let's go into our script, modify the permissions, simple count. Oops, sorry. And as I mentioned earlier, that you could use numbering way to do the change mod, or this way. I prefer this way, so I use it that. Anyway, the permissions are done. Now let's run it. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. See, it's just that simple. Now, you're probably thinking, hey, Imran, what is the real life application for this type of script? Okay, perfect example. You probably, perfect question, sorry. You probably installed a lot of softwares in your machine, right? If you are using Windows, you install a software, it goes through a wizard. If you're running a Linux script, then you're installing something, it goes through some kind of little wizard. But then you also notice it gives you some kind of progress bar, right? That is where those people, those developers, put those progress bar by putting these counting in there. It does the counting, it tells you, okay, approximately it's going to take this much time, and that's how it does. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what actually is. Um, why I have not put it in a real example, because I want you to go and find that out how you could put that in a regular everyday example. Now going to other scripts, the other 4 scripts that I have, I'll show you exactly where I could put in other examples as well, but not just in installation wizard, but in something else. Second script now we are doing is we are going to create multiple files. Right here it says create multiple files with different names. By the way, these scripts that I'm typing, of course, I do not remember all of them on top of my head. I actually have them written in a notepad and another computer that is right sitting next to me. So I am not like you can't say, "Oh, Imran is a genius. He remember every script on his head." I don't. I'm just like a regular person like you. So I have this notepad open on another computer, and I have that notepad attached to every lesson that you're gonna do. So once you're gonna play that lesson or this lesson, you will see an attachment .text file. I would like you to open that text file and then look at that text file and then create it, your script. Anyway, so let's create a second one, and I'm gonna create that for multiple files. So vi create multiple files with different names. It's too too confusing. Create files. Simple as that. Enter. Oops, I didn't put the insert in. Alright, you know what goes here. So before I do that, the best way to do is, I just remember, I usually do that. So I'll copy simple count, which we created just before that, and I'm gonna name it a different one, create files. All right, so now vi, so this way we'll have everything up there that we need. Just remove this part. Okay, now for I like I, so I keep picking on I. You could pick anything again. In curly braces 1 through 10. Okay, so now you know again, I'm putting 10 numbers in my box, right? So now you know that. Okay, now what you wanted to do? This time I wanted to create files, and the file name should start with Imran. Perfect. And it should end with $I. Nice. So you see what I'm doing? It is going to create 10 files, and every file will have the name Imran.1, Imran.2, Imran.3, and all the way to Imran.10. See how easy it has become to create multiple files? Probably you would have to create 1,000 files. Then creating it manually, it's not productive at all. So that's how we use for loop commands. Anyway, moving forward, so I'm going to create 10 files with the name Imran, and then I want you to be done. Since I copied from simple count, it should have the executable permission as well. So create files, hit enter. Boom, it actually threw an error message right away. Perfect. I want you to have that experience as well, because you will be troubleshooting error messages while you are creating scripts as well. So anyway, it says unexpected end of file. This is EOF, while looking for matching backtick and code. And it's line 7. So what I would do is I'll go straight into the file, create files, and I'll go into line 7 by putting :7, and it's coming right here. You see it has this thing tick. I don't want that tick. That's why I was giving that problem. Now save. Now let's run it, create files. Bingo. It came back. When you have a command that comes back and give you a prompt back without throwing any error message, what it means? The script ran successfully. Now let's verify if it ran. Let's do ls-ltr, and you'll see right here it created 10 files. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, now let's move on to the next script. And next script, I'll just do copy, create files, and this time I'll do create files with input. Input. Sorry, input. It stands for IP. I don't want to do this, so I will do in out in out. Vi create. You know what? I will change it. I don't want to confuse myself. In out, instead of that, I will do user input. Now create files dash user input. What I'm going to do here is first bash, and let's get rid of all of that. And now I want the user to tell me how many files they want. So this is the third script. It says right here, create multiple files with user input. So user, the script will ask users, how many files do you want to create? And it will say what's the name of the file that you want to create. So let's do that. Echo, how many files do you want? And I want the script to read that response, and that is T for total. It's just that I picked echo just to put a empty line. Then I want to throw another question at the user, and I'm going to say, please enter the start name of the files. So the file name, if you want the file names to start with Imran, then please enter Imran. Read n, just a number, not number, just a variable. Now for I n, again I is a variable. Now I want to put sequence here, so I put $sequence 1 through T. Okay, so this is going to, what it's going to do is this is going to put this variable, which is the sequence, inside the variable I. And the sequence is going to be the number of files. So the reason I'm putting sequence here, not 1 through, let's say, $T, you're probably thinking, hey, Imran, why didn't you pick, let's say, dot dot like this? This is something, if you have think of that, then I would say you are right on the right track. But in when you have to specify the variable, which is $T, then you cannot use one dot dot and the variable, because one dot dot only works with the number or integer. So in order for it to work, you have to put a new thing called sequence 1 through that variable which is specified by the user. It's just that's how it is. So that's what some people says. It is what it is. Okay. Now that is done. Do what? Come on, my cursor is stuck, looks like. Oops. My network went down. I don't know why, but anyway, I am going to copy this so I don't lose my work. I'll go into my machine. I'll verify the IP, and you see the IP is gone. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I'll just restart my network. This is just a command to restart. You could just fast forward it if you don't want to know. I'll just log back into my putty session once the session comes back up. Now it has restarted. Now let's see if I got an IP. Yes, I got an IP. So now I'm just gonna do right here, restart session. It has restarted. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into my PS directory and my script that I was working on. It says found a swap file name this, because I lost my session and it still has that .swap file open. So it says read only, edit anyway, recover, quit, and abort. I'll say recover and enter. Yes, it has recovered. So let me just quickly save it and make sure it does save it. Edit anyway. So now that's where we left off. Now we're going to do is do touch n, touch n, which is the name of the file, dot $I, which is the number that's specified by the user. Done. That's pretty much it. Let's save it. Let's cat. It is there. Now let's run it. Create files, user IP. Now it's asking me the question, how many files do you want? I want just 5 files. Please enter the start name of the files. This time I'll just put IMR, just first 3 initial of my name, because I already have other files in there. So I'll enter. And when you do ls-ltr, you'll see it created files with my name, IMR initials, and 5 files. That's how you give that option to the users. If the users are not very friendly with the command line, then you could create a script for them and they'll run it and it'll create the script for you. Next, moving on, the another script that I want to do is to assign write permission to the files. So now you notice that I have created these files and I want to give, let's say, write permission to every one of them. So of course you could do that chmod a write and just do Imran and then hit this asterisk and it will assign it. But what if you have different names, then you have to do one by one, or you could actually make a mistake while you're working on it. So it's better you create a script. To create a script, I'll name it assign permission. Oh, I don't want to do that. Again, I would have to write it, so I'll just create files and assign permission. Save time, assign permissions. Okay, so now for I in Imran, do echo assigning write permissions to $I, which to do is execute this to $I and sleep one, so it will do one at a time and done. Okay, so basically what it's going to do is going to look for all the files that has imran dot asterisk, and then it's going to do echo assigning write permission to all those files, and then it's going to actually assign those permission one by one. Let's run it. Assigning write permission to Imran 1, Imran 10, Imran 2, 3, 4. How many we have? We have 10, right? That's the one we created in our previous script. So let's verify it. Yes, there you go. So it assigned all the right permissions. Did it be give write or executable? We give executable. But anyway, you understand what I'm trying to do, right? So you could do, instead of X, you could just put W. Anyway, moving on to our last script for loop. I want you to keep doing for loops so you'll get used to it. The next one, I want to assign write permissions to files with the total time it will take. So if it's gonna take 10 seconds, then I want to know the wizard to tell me, hey, it's gonna take that much time. So I'm going to use the same script. This time I'm going to just VI the assign permission script. I'll come back right here, and this time I'll put right here ls minus l. Oh no, you know what? Total. Let's assign a variable. When you assign a variable, you hit equal and then tick, which is right above the tab. And the variable starts with ls minus l, imran asterisk, and then how many files we have? Tick. This is going to give us the total number of files that starts with Imran. Okay, so now echo. It will take total seconds to assign permissions. And the rest I'm going to leave out as is. I'm not changing anything. So, but this time I'm just going to update this one. Okay. All I did is I am telling the user that when you run this script, the script will take this much time to complete. It's just like as if you are installing a software and the software tells you that it will take that much time to finish the installation. And I am creating a variable, and inside the variable I'm putting this command. And that command is going to do is it's going to run ls minus l imran asterisk wc minus l. So what exactly that does? So this command, when you do ls minus l and when you run it, it will give you the total number of files that matches imran dot asterisk. So basically I'm saying, since we have sleep here, so if there are 10 files and it's going to sleep 10 times, then it's going to take 10 seconds. So let's do assign permission. See, it says right here, it will take 10 seconds to assign permissions because there are 10 files. Okay, so now let's check the write permission, and you see every file that has Imran has the write permission now. So these are a few examples of creating these for loop scripts. Try them again and again, and you will become very, very skilled in for loop if you try all of these scripts.